Well, I am so excited to have my friend Laura Sliwicki here today.
Hi.
This has just been a blessing. I have known Laura for how many years?
It's going on 6, I believe.
6 years. And when I met Laura, she was kind of a mess, right?
Big mess.
Kind of a mess. I heard about her first at church. Her mom was at church asking for prayer for her daughter who had a major alcohol problem and mental illness. And the next week, this lady showed up, and I didn't know who she was, but I just felt like I should talk to her, and sure enough, that was Laura. So we got talking, we got to be friends. I invited Laura over. We sat in the backyard, found out we had a whole bunch of things in common, right?
Yes, we did.
With the alcohol and the drugs and, you know, a lot of unplanned pregnancies and a lot of other things that we had made a lot of bad choices.
Yes.
Paid a pretty high price. I had fortunately been out of that realm for quite a while. And you were still stuck in it because you're much younger than me, like by 30, 40 years.
Just a little bit.
So we started a journey together. And so, Laura, why don't you tell the viewers and my listeners what that journey's been like for you?
Well, it's been a journey, that's for sure. You know, as you already know, I moved back here in 2016. From Chicago. Prior to that, I was in the Boston area for about 8 years. You know what? I was running away from Wausau because I was stuck in a cycle where I was just constantly making bad choices and building myself a terrible reputation, and I just couldn't seem to get out of it. So I moved, I ran away, and you know, wherever you go, you take yourself. It's very true. And so the problem never went away just because I kept moving. It actually progressively got worse, as addicts, you know, typically do. So I moved back here in 2016, and I was just about 30 years old, living with my parents, and absolutely miserable. My addiction to alcohol was at its worst ever. I was going out on the weekends and doing hard drugs, smoking marijuana every day. It was just a very terrible, vicious cycle. And all those substances were exacerbating my symptoms with my mental health issues so terribly. And I just felt completely out of control. And I knew something needed to change, but I wasn't quite sure how to get that started.
Right.
So,
yeah. And so we got talking about, you know, you hadn't really been in the 12-step program or gone to meetings. You'd been through some counseling before.
Yeah.
And being a counselor myself, I could see just a couple issues.
Yeah, just a few.
You know, maybe you needed to deal with. You know, we both have had childhood issues too.
Yes.
Some abuse stuff going on. So I could relate so much to what you were going through with that guilt and that shame and covering it up with all of those things and getting into relationships. And so then you hooked up with actually kind of a sort of a relative.
Yes, through marriage.
Yeah.
Through marriage.
Yeah, that's a cool story, and you can tell that. But as I shared my story about how I came to the realization that God had a plan for me, and that I did not really have any other options because I tried it all. I tried to quit and I couldn't quit. So I shared that with you, and you kind of bought into that. And so how has that worked for you?
Well, it's been life-changing. You know, I've always had a faith. I was raised Catholic, and I didn't necessarily understand it growing up, but as I got older, I felt a connection to my higher power, who I consider God. But I didn't realize that I could have a deeper connection. And I think that was a huge part of what was missing in it. And that was a hole I was trying to fill. Right. So, I mean, since I've humbled myself and been able to embrace my faith more and like grow my connection with God, you know, things have just changed. The way you think starts to change, and then the way you act starts to change.
Right.
And by no means has it been perfect. I mean, I'm still a sinner. I always will be. But when I think about what God wants me to be doing, and then I do those things, it seems to just work out more smoothly.
Right. Absolutely.
Just does.
Yes. So we started going to church together. I know
Yes.
Pastor Yao Yang had a huge influence in your life and
Yes.
in mine. And we started going to church together and doing ministry stuff, but you struggled.
Yes.
And struggled and struggled and
Yep.
quit and would be sober for a while and then would slip back into it. And at the same time, we're involved with Luke, who is now your husband.
And in recovery.
And in recovery, he was struggling with a much bigger, harder drug, heroin, right?
Heroin and methamphetamine.
Heroin and meth. And boy, he had been in and out and in and out. And Luke's real open about his story too, and has been hugely influential, both of them, to really helping a lot of other people, which is another part of the story I can't wait to tell. But Laura and Luke, you know, both really put their nose to the grindstone and worked with my husband, Ralph, and I, and other people, and just really fought down that road. And when I started one of the workshops that you came to, I think the first one that I did was 8 steps to what was it, to figuring out your purpose, but also with whatever ails you,
Right.
overcoming whatever ails you. And that was an important thing, is looking at identifying what your issues are. And the mental illness, you really hadn't come to terms with that yet or knew what that was.
Right.
And then the one that I think really had a big impact was the healing shame with fire. And that
Yes.
was another retreat.
Yes.
And also we were going through the 12-step program together. So that healing shame was really about the 4-step. So can you talk a little bit about how that 12-step and the Bible and your Christian faith has kind of all worked together?
Well, it's all worked together because the purpose of all these things is for the greater good. You're trying to improve yourself. You're trying to become reflective and understand all these underlying issues, and the 12 steps and the retreats and the Bible and all this, they all kind of work together to guide you to be that better version of yourself.
Yeah, great. Yeah, that's so true. And for me, I have ADHD, so staying on track has always been difficult. And I've been reading the Bible now for 45 years. It's been hugely influential. But something about the structure of the 12 steps has been so helpful to me that, you know, doing the meditations and starting to hear from God and really take the time to listen and work those 12 steps has just really been a huge benefit to me. So and you really kind of helped me structure this first 12-week course. And Laura, actually the 12-week course, I launched that in January. And Laura was my first student to graduate from that course. And she's actually going to be facilitating this next course that we're going to be doing, which we'll be doing ongoing. But here's the cool thing. I got to just share this. Luke and Laura got married. She's a stepmom of 2. They just had a baby. And, well, now she's over a year.
Yeah.
She was a baby that we were going to spend time with, and then COVID came and we didn't get to hold her for a whole year, and now she's a hyperactive toddler.
Yes, she
so
is.
even if we wanted to hold her, she wouldn't sit still.
It wouldn't happen, yeah. It wouldn't happen.
But Laura has gone from a big mess to now being an awesome mom. She's in school, going into your 2nd year.
Yeah, I'm wrapping up my 2nd year next semester.
Going to be getting her associate degree to be an AODA counselor. This is just so exciting. When I first met Laura, she tried to go to school. She didn't get, 3 weeks in it.
It was a pretty short run. Yeah.
Didn't make it, ended up in treatment, and yeah, she was a mess.
Yeah.
So she's really been through so much, but now here she is getting her degree, co-facilitating that, going through the Train the Trainer program so that she'll be certified to actually teach this course, which other people can do. And I'm so excited about it. And the 12-week course. Now, some people are like, 12 weeks? That's a long time. And when I asked you, is that too long? you said no. Why? Why do people need to be 12 weeks in this course?
Well, the reason I didn't think 12 weeks was too long was because if you think about it, recovery is really, from anything, it's really a lifetime thing. So committing to 12 weeks, you know, not only did it fly by, but it was still a nice chunk of time where you really had to concentrate, and you really were only committing an hour or two a week, you know, a little bit of homework and prepping, and then, you know, the discussion and stuff. So, I mean, 2 hours a week for 12 weeks didn't seem like much of anything considering what I'd already been through. And, you know, I knew it was going to help, so I was motivated.
Well, when you think about how much time we waste, how much time we wasted alcohol, drinking and using and going to bars and spending money. And it's not just those things. I mean, food for a lot of people are issues.
Yep.
Food for me is more overeating. Laura had issues with anorexia, right?
Yep.
Or bulimia?
It was a combination. Yeah.
Yeah. So food is another thing. There is relationships. There's mental illness. So like you said, it doesn't really matter what you're recovering from.
Right.
It could be the loss of your pet. It could be the loss of your job. It could be going through this COVID nightmare.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter, the 12 steps and working through surrendering your life to God. Really, anything fits. Anything
Yes,
fits.
absolutely.
So when we talk recovery, we're really talking life. We're really talking
Right.
life. And that's what it's about. One of the things that I feel so strongly about, and it's just been so exciting to watch you develop this, is when I wrote the book and was excited to get you a copy, and I'm just going to show you here, and for those of you who are listening and not looking, it's called Speak to Me, God, I'm Listening. It's 365 daily meditations for those who want to hear God answer life's toughest questions. And my firm belief is that if we don't understand what God's purpose is for our lives, we're going to be miserable.
Yes.
We're going to be doing a job that we don't like. We're going to be living a lifestyle that's we're not happy, because we've been created to do a certain thing with talents, gifts, abilities, desires, and experiences that are going to benefit other people. And if we're not doing it, it's like being a square peg in a round hole. Yep. Or round hole in a square peg, whichever way it goes. But so I know that you have started to do this listening to God thing, and how's that working for you?
Yeah, honestly, I talk to him every day now, and I try my best to be still and listen to what his response is, even if I don't like it. I really know it's from him if I don't like it, because being human, you know, we want to resist anybody telling us what to do. But, you know, I like to pray at night and then just try to be reflective and listen. And it's been great, because I really feel that connection.
Yeah, it really does make a difference as we're working through this. And for example, the first step is admitted that we're powerless over our issues, over our addictions, over our lives, really. Yeah. There is so little that we have total control over. What people do to us and for us, or not do to us or for us. And we had no control over COVID and what that did to the world. Now there's a new wave of something coming, and we have no control over that. But what we do have control over, if we trust God, if we turn it over, is how we react to it. Amen. We don't have to get anxious and depressed and a complete mess. We can say, alrighty, I'm going to trust you, God, and we can find peace in amidst it. And for me, I'll tell you, COVID has been the best thing for my career ever, because I now can do counseling online, which in my profession, they wouldn't let us do things online. Now we can. Yeah. Plus, I'm reaching people worldwide. I speak in India every week, and it's just, this has been awesome. I know Laura did a workshop with us about a month ago where we did a thing on sexual assault and abuse awareness, and you shared your story there. So that's another thing. I'll put a link so that if you're wherever you're watching this, you'll be able to see both of our testimonies on that seminar as well. But we've got a couple of things that we're doing, and we will repeat this. So if you're listening or watching and you're missing the one coming up, there'll be more. And they'll be replays. So please keep in touch, sign up, whatever. Give us a like wherever you are, follow us, and you'll be able to get some really cool stuff from Laura and I. But we're going to be doing one that is coming up that is asking the question, where are you going and why aren't you there? And we have asked that question so many times. So
Yes.
It's like, you know, I'll call Laura, she'll call me. I don't know what to do, even in doing this. What should we call this? Who's our target audience? And it goes right back to asking God. God knows who wants.
Yes.
He wants at these things that we're doing. So our first little short hour-long event is, I'm promising that if people come and listen, like in this, hopefully people are being inspired, you will be inspired. You will hear how this all works and will be transformed if you choose. That's the thing, if you choose.
It's a choice.
I mean, like, we talked for how long before you finally decided, I've had enough?
Yeah, it took a couple years.
Just a couple.
Yeah, just a couple.
And it's still, you know, it's still a roller coaster.
Yeah, of course.
You know, whether it's alcohol or drugs or slipping back. I mean, this TV thing, this news. I got caught up in the news when this COVID thing hit, and all of a sudden I realized I've been listening to the stupid news for a half an hour. What did that benefit me? Nothing. Half of it's gossip. It's not uplifting. There's nothing encouraging. It's stuff I've already heard, and who knows if it's even true.
It induces anxiety.
It does.
Which can lead to other bad things.
It does. It definitely does. And so, you know, we need to just really turn it over. But as we offer more things, and we've got so many things that we've done in the past, we're going to continue to do services that we're going to provide, freebies that we have to offer, that I really do hope that people will take advantage of it. And both Laura and I are willing to meet with people one-on-one. So if Laura inspires you and you want to talk to Laura, maybe you're a 30-year-old with stepkids and a new baby, and you're stuck in the alcohol and drug thing and can't quit smoking cigarettes and
Still working on that.
And all of those things. You know, Laura may be the one you want to talk to, but if you're older like me, I'll be 66 this week. Oh my gosh, that sounds so old. But if you're like, if I resonate more with you, then I would love to talk to you. So will be a link at the bottom that you can hook up with us, and we would love more than anything to spend some time with you and see if what has happened to us, we can guarantee you that what has happened to us, don't you think we can guarantee that it can happen if people choose?
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I totally believe that too, that there's no bounds if we really do it. But it's up to us. It's not up to us to fix ourselves, and this has taken me 45 years. It's up to us to surrender and let God.
Be willing to be willing.
Willing to be willing.
That's been my motto for a long time.
Yeah.
Thanks to her. She gave that one to me.
Be willing to be willing.
Yes.
Another one that I know has helped you, and I had another client this week that said, you know, that play it to the end really helped. So if you're thinking of picking up, if you're thinking of doing something, you're cheating on your spouse or yelling at your kids, play it to the end. Is it going to serve you well? Is it really what is congruent with what you want to do, with who you are, what you believe? Because if not, even what comes out of your mouth, if putting down somebody, being rude, being negative, if that isn't who you really are, just don't do it. And how do you not do it? Well, then sometimes it's calling somebody and go, I'm really struggling. Help me out here. And that's what we're on this earth for, is to help each other. That's how God made us. We're not meant to do this alone.
No.
It's the other reason why when people say, oh, I just want to work one-on-one with you. You know what? Group things work better. That's why AA and NA and all kinds of groups have been more effective, because it takes the whole village, really.
Yes, it does.
And so it's helped. And maybe what I say in a meeting is going to really resonate, but maybe what Laura says is going to be, and it doesn't matter how long we've been doing this.
No.
Laura will say something. She'll spit back at me what I've taught her. And it's like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. So that's how it's worked. So I'm really, really grateful that you've taken the time. I do hope that you will let us know what you think. Put it in the comments. Find us on Facebook or wherever. LindaLarsonSchlitz.com is the website. You can find us on Facebook too. Just find my name. You can Google me, Linda Larson Schlitz. I'll pop up there somewhere.
Yeah.
And just hook up with us and let us know. We would love to talk to you, and it'll be in the comments as well down below. So Laura, thank you so much, and we'll really be looking forward to doing more with you and blessing people's lives.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
God bless. Thanks for watching.
Mm-hmm.